the only thing standing between you and everything you want is the moment you finally decide to just go for it. Not when it's perfect, not when you're absolutely ready, but right now, today. I'm sitting with director, writer, and producer Monique Impagliazzo, and her story is exactly that. She didn't wait for permission. She stepped into writing, directing, producing, figuring it out as she went along. And that one decision led her to working alongside icons like Barbra Streisand. Monique has an incredible spirit and energy that is truly contagious. And now she's bringing that same courage into her newest upcoming project, Pinky Swear. A powerful story about facing your younger self and working through the parts of your life you thought you had to carry all by yourself. As soon as I heard about this project, I felt so connected because we all have that inner child. And sometimes the most important conversation we could ever have is the one where we finally see them, hear them, and begin to make peace with everything they've carried. But this conversation is bigger than even just one project, because at the core of everything we talk about today, it's the power of one decision. And that's exactly why I wrote my book, Today is the Day, Live It. 31 voices who share what happens when you choose courage, connection, and action, even when it's really hard. Monique's journey is one example of that, and maybe yours is next. You can purchase the book in paperback and Kindle on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, Walmart.com, as well as many other online retailers. So if you're ready for real conversations, real stories, and real change, make sure you're following along on our YouTube channel at Today is the Day Changemakers, and on Facebook and Instagram at Today is the Day Live It. Because this is not just a podcast. It is a reminder that today is the only day we are given. Now, how are you going to live it? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. I'm your host, Jody Hope Grinwald, and as I say every single week, I interview the changemakers, the inspirers, and those who are disrupting the status quo in the best way possible. And I'm so excited to have Monique, and I want to say your name right. We talked about this before, Impagliazzo.
Perfect.
Yeah, I did a great. Okay, good. I love that. We were just talking offline about how people mess up my name all the time, Grinwald. So I wanted to make sure that I said your name correctly. Hi, Monique. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to know you, and we'll talk about how we know each other in a minute. I
Yes.
just want to give your a quick synopsis of your bio, but I know we're going to get into like the most amazing conversation. Monique has such incredible energy. So Monique has over 15 years of experience across film, television, documentaries, music, videos, and commercials. Her award-winning comedy Turkey's Done, starring SNL's alum Cheri Oteri, earned Best Director, Best Actress, and Best Comedy honors at numerous festivals across the U.S. and Canada, including Just for Laughs Vancouver, the Women's Film Festival of Philadelphia, and the Burbank International Film Festival. Monique has collaborated with industry legends such as Barbra Streisand on multiple projects at Barwood Films, contributing to Paramount's The Guilt Trip, the acclaimed Back to Brooklyn, which is where I'm originally from, international and domestic concert tours, and the Grammy-nominated albums What Matters Most and Partners. Most recently, she directed 2 music videos because she's not busy enough. Which Way to Go, featuring risk artist Malek, Hanna, and The Look of Love, The Island, starring the iconic Roslyn Kind, who I got to meet at the book launch in California. Monique is currently developing several projects, including Agency, a series centered on determined female sports agent on the rise, and Back to December, a feature script she wrote that she was awarded $100,000. Congratulations. From the
Thank you.
Montana Department of Commerce's Big Sky Grant program. I can't stop. There's one more thing I need to mention here. She is also preparing to direct, which is something that I can't wait to talk to you about too. Pinky Swear, a powerful short film about a 40-year-old woman who meets her 7-year-old self. I'm getting chills. And together they overcome the trauma she has spent years trying to erase. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I don't even know where to begin. I thought about this interview for days, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start because it's just,
You're so
there's so
sweet.
much there.
I'm so glad I got to meet you in person too. So that was amazing. Of course, through Catherine Curry Williams, who we all know and love, in your amazing new book. So yeah. So thank you for having me on, Jody. Seriously. And
Oh,
I love all that you do as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And absolutely special shout out to the phenomenal Catherine Curry Williams for all that she does. There's a long list of things, but I'm just grateful that she hosted our book launch. Today's the Day, Live It book launch on the West Coast in her wonderful home. And that's how we got to meet in person. So Kat is the ultimate connector. So awesome.
She
I'm
is.
so happy.
Yes, she's the best.
She really is. And all of her friends and everybody who was there, just so wonderfully and sweet and supportive. I loved that. What is so interesting though, and I thought, and there's so many things that we could talk about that are interesting between you and me, but one of them is I met you on the West Coast, but you are an East Coast person and
Yeah.
in Philly, not too far from where I am here in New Jersey. So tell us a little bit. So you grew up in Philly and you stayed there for how long?
Yes, I was born and raised South Philadelphia. Loved living there, grew up, had many friends, incredible family, went to high school there, then went to Temple University where I studied film and media arts, and really didn't come out to the West Coast until later in my 20s. So I am an East Coast girl through and through. It always has my heart, and it always will be in my heart. But yeah, my life now is in LA on the West Coast.
Which I, as we were talking about before this interview, fell in love with the West Coast. So, I definitely need to come back more. That's for sure. That's on my, continues to be on my list. But what brought you out there at 22 to California?
At first I was coming out for work. I was actually working as a product specialist for Toyota at the time. So I traveled all over the country, answering questions at the auto shows about the cars, doing presentations on the cars. And then as I started getting back into more films and working on set, which was my initial ultimate passion, which is my passion today. Still, it doesn't go away no matter how hard you try. But during that time, I got an incredible opportunity to work for Toyota. So I came out. And then again, when I was working on set, actually in New Jersey, I was working on the set of a film called Standing Ovation. It was a children's musical produced by Diane Kerman and Stuart Raffle. And when the film was done, they live here in LA. They asked me to come onto the West Coast with them to finish post-production, which I did. And then eventually I moved here. So that's what got me out. Standing Ovation got me out to the West Coast.
That's incredible. So just because I know that, there are people from all over, all ages. I want to thank the 137 countries who have downloaded this podcast and listen, which is incredible. Thank you. But there could be a young budding filmmaker, someone who wants to get into this industry. It sounds so easy when you say it. I was working on Standing Ovation and it sounds easy, like it just happened, but we know that that's not the industry, right? You have to, it's luck, it's who you know, it's a little bit of it's education. What advice would you have for someone who's just starting out, that you learned from what you went through and getting yourself into the industry?
I think it's great that you get onto set as soon as you can, as a PA, as an assistant. I did both in the very beginning. I was just trying to learn as much as I could. Working in any department, I worked in the wardrobe department, I worked in production, I worked in the art department, I worked in all the departments because I really didn't know exactly that young what I wanted to do on set. I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I knew one day I did want to direct, write, produce. But it's really good that if you do have the chance to work in different departments, you understand it more. You understand their needs. You understand when you're looking for something, who to talk to. And it's really important that early on that you're reliable. You show up to work on set, on time, and then just try and be the person who is going the extra mile because you're going to stand out and then they're going to hire again for the next project. So that's a really good piece of advice that was given to me. And, I always really did my best to try and be the hardest working person on set. And, I always wanted to get taken to the next project because I wanted to learn. And that's what you're doing when you're coming out of school, like learning as much as you can and learning about everything that goes on set and meeting people, certain people know other people. So it's definitely, the advice that I took and that I, of course, would love to pass down to anyone who's first starting out. Yeah.
I think when we're younger, and I don't know if you feel this way or not, we think the world seems so big. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden we start, especially in certain industries, running into the same people over and over again and realizing how small the universe can really be at times. And so that's why it's very important. What is the saying? Don't ever burn a bridge, because especially in that industry, that's the last thing that you want to do. Do you feel the same way about that with the industry being small?
Absolutely, it is. It's so funny. People that you work on set with, you might see them down the line in a few years, and a lot of people know a lot of different people. And also, too, if you're smart and you're hiring people, people will reach out to other producers to see if they've worked with that person. How did they perform on set? What's their personality like? So a lot of people do talk within the industry for sure.
And that's
Yeah.
what I think. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you there's you can get stigmatized very quickly if
Oh
you're,
yeah.
yeah. So
Oh
you
yeah.
have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a project that you worked on with Cheri Oteri, and that's in your bio, and that had to be. It sounds like it's probably was super super fun, and she's always been great on SNL, and I
Oh
always loved that
yeah.
show. So tell us a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so Turkey's Done was the first short film that I directed, produced, wrote with two other women from South Philly. We raised $30,000 in a month to make the film, and we were living in LA at the time, the three of us, and it was three women coming home to the neighborhood to make a movie. And it was incredible because the entire neighborhood came out to help. Who was donating food for crafty and catering, who was donating a production office, locations. It was truly amazing. And there were so many people who, donated to our crowdfunding campaign as well. And it was just the homegirls, coming home, and everyone came out to watch us shoot too. We had so many people on set, because there was a couple of exterior shots up a side street in South Philly. We grew up in row homes, and yeah, till this day, it's incredible. And then Cheri's originally from Philly. Her grandmother is from South Philly originally. And so for her, it was going back home as well. And all the Philly girls making a movie. So that was like such a good time. It was, something that I had dreamed about doing. And it was a risk though, Jody, for sure. I had never directed, wrote, produced before, but you have to take shots in this business, because if you don't, then you're not going to get hired in that role. How's somebody going to know that you can produce and direct and write if you've never tried it before? So it's a little scary because the unknown is scary. But if you get past that fear, trust me, you're going to learn so much. And that's where you make the mistakes on smaller projects. The first one, you're going to make mistakes on all of the projects. You hope to make less, but that's the point. It's all learning process. Every single project is learning. Yeah.
How did you deal with any imposter syndrome?
It's such a good question. Especially back then, I think I didn't know what I didn't know. And I was just on the train and just really excited. And, it was something that I always wanted to do. And we figured out a way to do it, to raise the money. We found the crew and the cast was there. But trust me, the fear creeps in 100%. So you just need to really make sure you're surrounding yourself with a great team. If you can, family, friends, have as many people behind you. So, when you're getting into that, that voice that sometimes creeps in that we try and keep away, but it's important to surround yourself with the support. And I still am very close with a lot of my family, of course, my family, but a lot of girlfriends back in South Philly who are literally sisters to me. There's 10 of us and we still get together. We know everything about each other. We've been through it all. And I call them my GLs. It's short for girl. And it's my crew. And I have a lot of friends here on the West Coast too. Obviously, you met a lot of my friends when you came out to the West Coast. So it's really important you surround yourself with a great support system and community. That's key.
Oh, community and that connection. Like that's my whole platform is
Yes.
connection. right? That
Yes.
energy, you're magnetized to certain people for a reason.
100%. 100%.
So I think it's incredible that you like you said, see that's what I think a lot of people who they stay in the fear. And I know, there's things that I've never done because I was afraid to do them, and now I'm doing them. And when you're ready, right? You can't,
Absolutely. Yeah.
the term fake it till you make it is real. I've done that too. I mean, I think we've all kind of done that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But when you feel it, like you said, you were focused. And when you feel
Yes.
it, it just pulls you so hard you can't say no.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. You go for it. And like I said, it's going to be scary because we've never done it before. So we trying to wrap our brain around something like that is not an easy task. But I think the more the awareness that we do have around it, not letting that imposter syndrome kind of creep in. It's the awareness, I think, that's also key. I don't know if I actually had the awareness back then. I was just full speed ahead. But now I feel like I've done some healing in my life, and just the awareness and to know what to do during that time is so important. So, but you can do it. You can do it. And here I am to tell the tale, just like you.
Exactly. And surrounding yourself with people who have that mindset that we can do it. We can do anything we put our minds to. It may not look exactly the way we had the expectation it would look, but
Yes.
the reason it may morph into something else may be because that's better. And we might, at the time might not feel that way, but it could end up being better.
It always does. It does come out better than you think. So take that shot. That's what I say.
Absolutely. And before we get into one thing that I've been dying to talk to you about too,
Yeah.
I know people are going to be asking. So it says that you've worked with Barbra Streisand. I know that a lot of people are going to be like, what happened? Like, talk to us about that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I was just finishing up working on Standing Ovation with Diane and Stu, and James Brolin was an executive producer on that film. So he came over to Diane Stu's house one day and said his wife was looking for an assistant. And he said to me, Mo, I can set up a meeting if you want to go over and meet with her. And, Diane and Stu always were and still are. They're like, I call them my West Coast parents because I actually just saw them last week. So I've known them now for, I don't know, 15, 16 years. I blame them for my West Coast life. No, I owe them for my West Coast life. And they're just really great supporters. And, they talked me up to Jim and to Barbara, which is so sweet. I had never been an executive assistant before, Jody. And I went to meet with Barbara, and it was scary in the beginning because, again, the unknown. But as soon as we started talking, it was like talking to you. It was a lot of fun. We were talking about scripts and projects and things that she was working on at the time. And I must have done well because I was running her office the next day at 9 a.m. So yeah, I had 3 days of training. And the rest is history. I was with her through tours in Europe and Canada and all across the States. We did films, albums, all kinds of fun projects where obviously a lot of, singing, and she's very much involved politically, which learned so much. It was a time in my life that I learned things that I never thought that I would learn. And it really also taught me about myself and what I was capable of doing. So, yeah.
So it's interesting because we talk about that, I talk a lot about that one decision that you make that impacts not just your own life, but people you never meet, or a decision you make that you would never even think could even be possible, right? Because you went from Standing Ovation to then being, working directly for her as an assistant, which was different
Correct.
than what you were doing with the movie. And
Correct.
so, and you said you never did it before. So the
Never.
fact that you even just took a shot on yourself, and
Yes.
and then the other piece is she took a shot on you.
She took a shot too. Yes, I know. I couldn't believe it. I still actually can't believe it. It amazes me, but it's actually work that I'm really, really proud of. You know, we did the Back to Brooklyn tour. I know you're from Brooklyn. So that was the tour that I worked on, and I got to meet Roslyn Kind, who is Barbara's sister, who is a really good friend of mine now, and I was um fortunate enough to direct her music video. And you know, Rozzy produced that music video. She always wanted to produce, and she did, and it was amazing. It's a gorgeous piece, and I'll send over the link to that so you could check it out, and for your viewers too. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, and Rozzy is just has such a big heart and is just so filled with love and kindness. So I'm just really grateful for a lot of the relationships that I made when I was there, with Barbara's personal assistant, Renata Buser, Kim Skolecki, who runs her archive now and who was her executive assistant in the past. I mean, these are relationships that I still have and I'm very grateful for. Bernadette Stewart, who was the first person to kind of help me get through my first week. She's a design assistant. She was at the time and now is a union set decorator. She's incredible, you know, set deck and artist. And there's just so many people. Zach Monge, who also is still one of my best friends. So I'm just really grateful for all those people because we were all there for each other and helping each other and like really working as a team. And I got to work with so many incredible people there. Yeah.
So how long did you do that for?
I was there about 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot happens in 6
A
years.
lot.
Touring and you're all over. Oh yeah. Living out of suitcases and all that fun
It
stuff.
moves.
Huh?
It moves fast for sure. Yeah. And you have to be able to keep up because Barbara, she's a genius. I mean, not just musically, she is so smart, and so intelligent. And, you know, you have to be able to keep up with someone incredibly smart like that and who is involved in so many different things. And it was always great when she would say, okay, so what did you learn from this? You know, what piece did you get? And, you know, what can you take with you, you know, with your directing and things like that. So it was always very sweet when, you know, we had a moment to actually think because we were so busy. But yeah, those were some really good times. Yeah.
So my mom and Barbara went to the same high school in Brooklyn.
Really? Erasmus?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my
That
mom
is
and
so
my
cool.
dad both went to Erasmus. And so when I met Rozzy at the book signing at Kat's house, I guess, you know, we talked about the Brooklyn connection
Yes.
and Erasmus. And Rozzy was so kind. Like, obviously, we didn't talk about anything related to this at all. It just came over
Right.
with her book, and she was like the kindest, sweetest, most down to earth person. And it's like, would you sign my book for me? And I was like, oh, my heart, you know. And then we talked for a few minutes about Brooklyn, and we had a really good talk about that. But that's the thing is that, you know, and I know a lot of people, and you know, we look up to these incredible stars because we see
Yeah.
them doing the things that we want to do. And I wasn't gifted with any kind of a voice. My father was an opera singer. My daughter is an
Amazing.
opera singer.
Incredible.
And so, you know, but I didn't get that. And my sister and I, we always say it skipped a generation for whatever reason. Our children all have it, but
Yeah.
we don't. But, you know, we were brought up around that. So it's not about, we're not starstruck in that way. We look for the celebrity with the heart, right? The one
Yeah.
that's talented and has the heart and the soul and wants to, you know, be able to connect with their community and do good. And so it's so wonderful to see that. And that's who surrounds you. I saw that at the book signing. Like, these people are heart-driven human beings who, they're people just like you and me. They just want to
Absolutely.
do what they
Yeah.
love, right? Who doesn't want to do what they love?
They just want to do what they love and also give and help, you know, help whoever they can. I mean, with the She Angels Foundation, I'm a proud member. Obviously, that's how we're connected through Kat Curry-Williams, our president and co-founder. But these are women who don't want to sit around and gossip. They actually want to change the world. And that's what I want to do. So I really do my best to surround myself with those like-minded women who can, even men too, but people who just can see a future or see better for everyone collectively and want to do better. I'm really a big fan of impact, and I've always been interested in self-improvement and empowerment. So I do my best to surround myself with those types of people because they inspire me. They inspire me to keep going, to want to do better, to one up myself. We like to challenge ourselves too. And I can't get bored. My mom always says that to me. She's like, don't let Monique get bored. I always need to be doing something. But if I'm going to be doing something, I want to be doing good, especially for other people. So, yeah.
Yeah, my ADHD doesn't let me get bored either. It's kind of like, I got to be doing something. And then, I see something I could do differently or help somebody over here. That's, it's a calling. I say that, people are called for this kind of work. That is for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In a world where trust drives decisions and relationships matter more than transactions, disconnection is something businesses simply cannot afford. I'm Jody Hope Grinwald, a leadership and connection strategist, and my work is different because I don't offer just a single framework or surface level fix. I bring an entire ecosystem built on connection with me. I work across leadership, career transition, teams, and client relationships, helping organizations rebuild trust where it may be strained and design their work so disconnection doesn't happen in the first place. Because when one link is off, it affects everything, and sustainable growth depends on keeping those connections strong. To learn more or inquire about me speaking at any of your events, reach out to me at Jody, Jodi, at todayisthedayliveit.com.
So it was interesting, and I just want to share this with my listeners. So we had our book launch, as I said, on the West Coast, and Catherine had invited me to look at a Zoom and see, oh, look, this is what my living room is going to look like. I'm having an event. And I was like, okay, great. So I go on the Zoom a week before I arrive at her house, and you're there, and a panel is there, and they're talking about pinky swear, and they're and you're talking about pinky swear, and you're talking about, the 40-year-old version, right? Am I right? Is that the age meeting their 7-year-old version of themselves and working together through the trauma of what happened through their life? And I don't want to explain it for you. This is your project.
Oh, that's okay.
But my connection with it, like, I still get chills when I think about it. Like, I almost tear up about it because I think it's, wow, if that could ever really happen, right? That we could do that. But I just want to know everything about this, and that what made you think of this project. Anything you want to tell the listeners, I want them to hear about and how they can support it, because I stand behind this project. I love it so much.
Thank you so much, Jody. It means so much to me. So this idea was born out of a rapid transformational therapy session. Liz Swadek is my coach. She's a transformational coach. She's a business coach. She's all the things. She's amazing. I don't know if were you able to meet Liz when you came to LA?
I did. And we're talking about my next book, and she may want to be a part of it. So I'm fingers crossed here.
Incredible. We're just going to put that out there. But because Liz is amazing. And, her goal is to heal 1 million women. So, I love that. I've been working with her now over a year. And this idea stemmed from an exercise that I was supposed to write something. And for some reason, I couldn't get the words out. And then all of a sudden, it came out in a script form. And so I just started writing, freehand writing the script, which a lot of times I'll just go into my laptop and just, into my program in Final Draft and just type it, write, because I'm a writer. And so we did this, and then for some reason it wasn't going away in my head. Like, I kept on thinking about it. And I'm like trying to make it go away. It's like, no, I have other projects I'm working on. Like, I need my brain for, I need the space in my brain for other projects, but it wouldn't go away. And I really started then to sit with it and work the script. And then I approached Liz, and I approached Kat Curry-Williams, and I approached Teresa Ashby in reference to this idea. And they loved it. And I asked them to be executive producers because I wanted to really develop this. And I want to take it all over the country, all over the world, because I feel like women are going to heal. And this is going to start conversations that we might not have had. And I'd love to also see it as a series. of multiple little girls because we all are different. We look different. We're from different places. We all have different things that happen to us, but we can all relate to each other. And that is the ultimate goal with Pinky Swear. We're going to shoot it in Philly because that's where my little girl's from. So I'll be on the East Coast again shooting. I can't wait. Hopefully it'll all work out where I can shoot it maybe late spring, early summer and go back to Philly, shoot it and start submitting to some film festivals. And I'd love to take it to women's conferences, have it go beyond streaming and beyond film festivals, right? This is going to be a little bit of a different type of project. And what we're also developing is something called the Pinky Swear experience, where it could be a part of weekends or women empowerment, where, you see the film, but then you're able to obviously ask questions and start that conversation. But maybe you take a picture with your little girl or you're in a meditation with some, VR. So there's so many different ideas that could possibly come from this. And I've, just even from that event that you randomly were on the Zoom call, which I think is really cool. It was meant to happen for a reason. So I just, I can already see some of the effects of this, and we and the producers as well can see the effects. So I'm really excited about it. I know that the right actresses are going to come along. I'm working very hard also to have an all-female crew as well. Yeah.
I love every single part of this. And I know you and I talked about this because, I want to find a way for myself to support it as well. But if anybody who's listening wants to, support it because you're trying to raise money for it right now, right?
Yes.
I want you to just share with those listeners who may be able to support how they can.
Absolutely. I'll send you the link to where you can donate to the film. It's going through a fiscal sponsor. They're called From the Heart Production. So it's 100% tax deductible donation. And there's different levels too. So if you donate $1,000, you will get an associate producer credit. If you go up to 5,000, executive producer credit, and you're able to come to a screening and sit on a panel. And then there's the $10,000 where you're an executive producer, your logo is in the credits, you're traveling with us across the country. So these are some of the levels. And then if you want to donate $1 or $20 or any amount, it all helps and it all will help women. So that's what I can't heal women in a sense of coaching. That my gifts are the visuals and telling stories and bringing women together in that way. But I have all these amazing women who are my executive producers, and we also have a new executive producer. Her name is Elisa Perlman. So I wanted to say hello to her and thank her because she also believes in this work. So thank you to Elisa as well.
Well, I'm grateful for all of your executive producers who are believing in this project to help it come to fruition. I think we all have that little person in ourselves that, there's always something, right? There's always something happens in our life. If you have lived a magical childhood, I love that. I love that for you. And that's beautiful. I wish I could say I knew 50% of my friends and family who did, but I don't. Everybody had their thing.
Yes.
And so being able to come to terms with that little girl and that trauma that might have come up within your life. What a beautiful, I actually think, I was thinking about it. I have a new grandbaby and I think about, she's only 3 months old, but I think about the fact that, I want, for her to continue to grow in the way that without all of that baggage, right? And
yes,
not have to come to terms. So all the parents out there who are listening, what
exactly.
advice do you have for them,
right,
while they're raising, right, those kids to kind of alleviate that trauma? A piece of it too could be even and I don't want to. I'm just giving you ideas here because I love.
No, please do. I welcome the ideas, Jody. Go ahead.
It's just, having some of those, clinicians who are trauma-informed clinicians to work with parents so that you don't have to pinky swear with your older self down the road.
Exactly. And it's a ripple effect too. When the parents heal, it heals families and generations, for it to be, passed down. So it's important. I'm not a parent in this life. I do have fur babies. Lord knows they are like my children. But I know from talking to other women that if you heal, again, it's a ripple effect. It's going to go throughout your entire family, even to the men in the family. So I just love having this conversation. I love the idea of people healing and having time with their family that they always wanted, or, so many things can come of it, when we work on ourselves and our self-awareness, for sure. And that excites me.
100%. So thank you for doing this. And like I told you when we spoke the first time about this, I'm here to support in any way I can on the East Coast. So when you come to Philly, I hope that we'll get together. That'll be great. I would love to be able to meet you.
You're going to have to come on down 100%. You're already doing something, Jody. We're talking and we're having this conversation, and who knows who's going to hear the conversation. Maybe they need to hear it, but yeah, just keep following. And, there's going to be a film soon, and we'll be on panels talking about it. And we'd love to have everyone come in to see it and ask questions.
How do people follow you for this film or in general?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn and TikTok, all under Monique and Pagliazzo. But I also have a website. My film company is manifestingproductions.com. So you can find me there. Yeah, there's some of the places. Yeah.
I love that. So it's funny because my dad was all about manifesting. He was my personal life coach, and it just an incredible human. And we lost him almost 11 years ago. And so it's incredible how I'm running into all of the people who are into the meditation and the manifestation and all the things that I was like, I can't do any of that. And now it surrounds me with incredible people like yourself. Monique, what else would you like to share that you're doing right now that you would like people to know about?
Oh, so sweet. Yes, I'm also working on a feature film called Back to December. You had mentioned in my bio. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction again. Working on that. The script won a $100,000 grant from the state of Montana. It's called the Big Sky Grant. So we are working and developing that at the same time. And then I'm also developing a series that I'd like to shoot in Philly about a female sports agent on the rise whose dad is the biggest bookie in South Philly. So she's trying to create some legacy, and he's trying to pull her back in. So yeah, it's a very interesting story, and it's going to have to do with women's sports, women in the industry that like female directors, female agents have it just as hard. That's a very male dominated industry. Like, us ladies in the film industry and the entertainment industry, really. But I just find it so fascinating, everything about these female sports agents. And now with, women's basketball on the rise and women's sports in general, them getting paid more money. There's so many different stories that we can do on that. And every episode will deal with a different controversy or issue going on in sports, either for minorities or women. So it's going to touch upon that, but it's also going to follow, her name is Gina DeMarco, and her family, her big fat Italian family. So it's basically like, I want to say Olivia Pope meets Tony Soprano.
In love.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. I'm just going to leave you all with that. So stay tuned for it. It's called Agency. That script.
So juggle all of that's three very different and important and fundraising and all the stuff, all the things like getting the people that you have to hire for all of the pieces to put the puzzle together. So what is what do you do to manage it all for yourself?
It's such a good question, Jody. I do feel like certain days I put on certain hats. If I have to jump into one script, and then sometimes then in the afternoon, I'm into another script because I'm having another meeting. But if you're going to be in the film industry, especially now, the way that everything is changing. And if you're a creator, it's really important that you're able to pivot and learn and teach yourself new things. Because like you said, one day I'm fundraising, the next day I'm fixing a script or creating the pitch deck. Then I'm hiring crew and casting and post-production, getting it into film festivals. There's so many like different layers to kind of get you to the end goal. And if you are really passionate about it, I mean, it's something that I've always loved since I was very young. And there was no plan B for me. And I even love to now creating content on social media. That's a whole other ball of wax. But again, teaching yourself that, because you have to be able to promote yourself and market and learn all of those things in business. And if you are a filmmaker, writer, director, producer in this business, the more open-minded you are, the further you're going to get. Yeah.
The social media part of it is like a full-time job by itself when you're trying to promote yourself. I tell you right now, because I have the nonprofit, and then today is the day. It's a drain on time.
It's definitely a full-time job. You're exactly right. And everything now is, how many followers does someone have? How many views does someone have? So yeah, to be more well-rounded with it all and try and talk to as many people and learn. I'm always asking questions, Jody. Still, I do not hold back. When I was younger, I did, but the more I learn, the more questions I have. So that's important too.
Oh,
Don't be
it's so
afraid.
important. And like, even just trying to put up things and about, on social and all of that, they keep changing things and adding things, and there's so much to learn consistently. I'm like, my brain is overwhelmed with it all, but it can be fun if you have enough time to do it.
True. Very
or
true.
hire somebody, which is nice if you can do that on a
Yes.
full-time basis.
Yes.
So 5 years down the road, where would
Yes.
you like to be?
Such a good question. I have this dream of attending the Diane von Furstenberg Awards in Italy, because she's such a huge supporter of women, and just being with all the women from She Angels, women like yourself, my girlfriends, my family, obviously my mom and my sister being there would be great. Yeah, that's a goal.
Oh, well, so we're gonna I'll mark the calendar. We'll talk before 5 years for sure, but we'll check in 5
Absolutely.
years.
Yes.
We'll
Yes.
check in 5 years and see what happens. But I have a feeling it may be way before then with you. You just seem to be like such an amazing go-getter, and it's incredible. So the thing about it is, for anybody listening who feels like they're having struggles and challenges, it really is. And I know, Monique, fill in anything I'm missing here. Connection with people who are like-minded, which sometimes is hard to find, but
Yes.
pay attention to the signs, because sometimes they're right in front of you and you don't even realize it.
So true. So true. Yes. I feel the connection is really important. Also, do your best to be brave and talk about some of the things that might be bothering you. It really, really does help. It could be scary. I know that, because I spent a lot of years keeping emotions inside, but it's not going to serve me as a filmmaker, and it's not going to serve me to hold back, because I'm not going to be able to help. I'm not going to be able to give. And I'm a giver. I'm getting better at receiving, Jody. I'm still working on it, but but yes, please, find someone to talk to. It's so important. Find someone to connect with. There are people out there. There's so many people too who want to help people. It's incredible. And you will magnetize that. Like you said earlier, you will manifest it. Like your dad said, you will draw those people to you. So please, you're not alone. There are people out there. I know sometimes it can feel very lonely, even though we have our phones and social media and all the things. There's plenty of people, I talk to them every day, who have foundations, who are trying to do for women, who are trying to do for even the animals. I mean, people just want to help. They're out there. So please talk to them. Yeah.
And I want to thank you for sharing about, you know, you going to your coach and that the moment where you realize, you know what, I need to take what I learned for myself and share it through this film now that you're going to create for other people. If you never would have gone through that experience,
Yeah.
would Pinky Swear even exist?
I don't know. I don't think so, to tell you the truth. I really don't. And doing that work wasn't easy, but it got to the root of a lot of things that were actually holding me back, a lot of my fears. And I will say it, and I said it earlier, the unknown is scary, but that's where the magic is. That's where the magic happens. Yeah.
I love the word. I love the word magic. And it's funny you said magic, because when I came back to the East Coast, I said my West Coast experience was magical, and that was
Yeah.
the word I used. So I'm like that. We're definitely on the same plane there for sure. Anything else you want to share before we go?
I just want to say hi to my parents because I know they're going to watch this all the way through. I was given incredible parents, so thanks. It always makes me cry. So thanks, mom and dad. Love you guys. Miss everybody back in Philly. Oh, my sister, my girlfriends, and thank you to all the people who like believed in me, still believe in me. I have to say thank you to my wife. She is my biggest supporter here on the West Coast and always to next to my mom. So, so my wife is amazing. She has an incredible family who love me like their own too. So thank you so much. And yeah, if you have a dream, just keep going after it. It might not make sense in the beginning, but it will one day. It will.
Well, we're going to be happy to have you back on the East Coast for a little bit. Secretly, I know your parents probably are too. I'm
Yeah.
happy that you'll be on, but I'm sure they're going to be super thrilled to have you back on the East Coast for a little bit for your film.
Can't wait. Can't wait to be back there shooting. It's my favorite. It's my favorite place to shoot. It's my favorite time is when I'm shooting. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, I love it. And my sister-in-law is a big Philly sports fan, so she'll be thrilled to hear this, you know,
Go
about
Eagles. Go Eagles.
what you're putting together for the for your sports series, right? It's going
Yes.
to be a series, so that'll
Yes.
be
Series for sure. Yeah.
that's
Love
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Monique, thank you for everything. We so appreciate the work you're doing and the heart that you're sharing.
Thank you for doing all that you do because I know that there is a lot that you do. You told me about it, which is incredible. Thank you for wanting to just constantly help people. And your book is incredible. People go out, order it on Amazon or wherever it's, I know you could plug it a million times, but yeah, it's incredible. And all these authors that you put together are also magic. So congratulations to you, Jody.
Thank you, thank you. I was very, very blessed to have all 30 of them part of it with me. So yes, Today is the Day, Live It is available, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, pretty much online anywhere books are sold. And I'm just so glad to have met you through this whole process.
Me
And
too.
one more time, give us the website people can find you on.
Sure. It's manifestingproductions.com.
Awesome. I'm going to say what I say at the end of every single podcast. Today is the day. You cannot go back to yesterday, and you do not yet own tomorrow. So what goals can you set right now that you can walk towards, whether small or large, that you can accomplish? They're waiting right out there for you. Thanks again, Monique. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
See you later.